world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad. Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on video games. I'm John Campbell. Back with me for this investigation because we're back to the Tomb Raider franchise. It's Brandon Jones.
Tomb Raider, wider than a mile. I know that has nothing to do with it, but every time I see Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
I think
You
of
think
Moon
of
River.
Moon River? That's interesting. That might just be you. It does fit.
Well, I mean, it's very awkward when I'm playing the games.
Yeah.
Because they could be like 80 hours long. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there singing it the whole time.
Yeah, by the end you're like, Tomb Raider.
And as you well know, because I've complained about it, and
Yeah.
possibly on the previous ones, I have not finished either or any of the three reboot ones, simply because I'm not a good gamer, and the last
I think you did mention this on the
almost all of them get so even on easy setting I'm unable to finish. It drives me nuts.
I will say, not
I
to
assume she survives because again there was a sequel and then another sequel.
I have played through all three of them, and I will say this movie, because we're talking about 2018's Tomb Raider, which of course is not only a reboot but an adaptation of a reboot. This
it's interesting.
It felt
because
right
it does touch on the first two reboot games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of combines both of them into one story.
It combines both of them, but I will say, I do know that you have so much more time in those games to flesh stuff out. But
of course,
I think the writing is fairly weak here. I mean, it's not great. And
I don't know if it's weak as much as it's
sad that a reboot of a game, or like we've stolen the plots from these things, and it ends up being a movie being less well written than a video game is kind of a real.
Yeah,
hello.
I mean, look, as the guy who's here every week, not uncommon this season. Almost every one of these movies, we've been like, I don't know, the game kind of does this better and that better, and
it is interesting. You're like, wow.
Some of that is time. Some of that is time. I will grant that, as you do as well. But I think also it's about like there is a sense, and I think starting off, my general opinion, light years beyond the Angelina Jolie movies.
Oh yeah, no, agreed.
So much better in almost every sense.
But
I do agree with you that I don't know that the writing. I don't know that I would say weak, but it is stock.
It is stock. That's a problem. The parts that you can tell that they were as the writers, I suppose. You can tell where they were excited.
Yeah.
Was trying to bring their own stuff into it, which that's good and bad. But when the movie becomes the straight ahead Tomb Raider adventure, suddenly they're not even trying. It becomes so cardboard and stock, and you're going, okay. Walton Goggins gets like a good scene when he's introduced, and then from there on he is just the bad guy. He's amazing.
Well, I gotta say, this is a prime example of a guy doing a lot with a little. There's not a whole lot on the page, but man, is he never not compelling to watch.
I think all of them, and specifically, big shout out at the top, Alicia Vikander. Yep. Holy hell, she's not given great stuff, but and again, I like Angelina Jolie as an actress, so I'm not going anywhere on that.
No,
but Alicia Vikander is investing such thin material with real heart and soul.
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
That you're like going, geez, I care about you.
I
Lara
think
Croft.
that's
Please be okay.
that's the biggest thing here, right? One thing we complained about in the other two movies, and this is true about the games to some extent, although we did talk about in those, even the games were better at Lara as a character, even in the original games. But so much of this is Lara is a person in this movie, and she just wasn't in the Jolie movie. And that's not Jolie's fault. That's the script's fault. There was no here. And in fitting with the reboot of the game, she is much more in the like John McClane or whatever, the human.
You want to hear my hot take?
Yeah.
I think the perfect Tomb Raider movie is the two combined.
Sure.
In other words, I think this could have used a little bit more of superheroine Lara Croft. A little bit.
I mean...
And I think, obviously... the Jolie stuff, it lacked all of this grit and heart and that kind of stuff. A little bit more grounded. I mean, somewhere in between, I think, is the material.
And it's this is this is not really a defense of this movie because it's always that. But I do think that's obviously where they were wanting to take this, much like the games do, where each game increasingly she became more of the action hero, and you watch that build happen.
But it even comes down to the world, because here in this, in the reboots, there is mystical power. Yeah. There is supernatural. And here the clever twist is, oh, no, it's not.
Right.
There's nothing supernatural about this at all.
Yeah, that's a very conscious choice here.
Well, okay. Grounding stuff is good, but... you know, and the end of the game, I remember fighting that goddess woman, and here
it's an interesting choice. I feel like it's a choice in this case specifically to not be Indiana Jones more than to be Tomb Raider, right?
Yeah.
And you're also gonna you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. But what you're also gonna do the Uncharted movie with us, and we'll talk about what that movie does too.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway. Yes, that is a very conscious choice. I was also surprised by that because, once again, the supernatural does exist in the Tomb Raider games. I think what they do here is fine, but you know,
I thought it was clever.
Yeah.
And you know, it sets up what you need, which is essentially just the just the moment to moment set pieces of action, but not anything supernatural.
It still does all the adventure movie,
incredibly capable.
Which I got to say, once again, is but they make her be clever and smart as opposed to the Jolie who's just awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the big nitpick. And again, I think we're in agreement. We both like this movie.
I think this is a good movie. It's not a great movie, but I think this is good. This is a good time. And I think,
having played the games, I enjoyed it.
Both of us were saying before this, we wish they had made more, because I do think also this is a good movie that could have had a great sequel. You know,
right.
I think this thing could have. There was enough here to launch this into being something really awesome.
And they made their money back, but it wasn't a huge hit. But
this is the common. I would say the most common thing we see this whole season of all these video game movies is almost none of them flat out bomb. Almost all of them make like, did okay.
They found enough of an audience.
Yeah, that's this. So this is yet another one where that happens, right? Where it just that seems to be the until the very end of this season, where we get to like the Sonic movies and stuff like that. Yeah. None of these are setting the world on fire, but also very few of them are true disasters either.
There you go.
It's weird.
So my somewhat slightly hot take is one of the fresh ideas they bring to it.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to like go, this is our take on Lara. Actually, I think undermines her, and it's right pretty much at the beginning. The idea being that she is, at least in her young years, the Lara Croft that we expect, living with, in the manor with her father who keeps going off and da-da-da. The main difference in this movie is they decide that Lara just finds out that he's been like this archaeological risk-taking Indiana Jones guy. She doesn't even find that out till she's in her 20s. So she's never herself, other than we've seen her train physically.
Right.
And we see her becoming an ace archer.
She's a woman. She's a woman of action, but not
She's a woman of action, right. So what they do is they effectively take out the hyper intelligence, which I know there's a line where it can become too much of a superheroine kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this Laura is not archaeologically smart. She can do puzzles and stuff.
She's smart, but yes,
she
not
doesn't know the legends. She doesn't know the history. She doesn't speak other languages. That was a big part for me. I thought, I don't like that. I like a Lara Croft that has been training her whole life. She could still be the disaffected, like her heart was broken and she ended up rejecting the money, and
I think that was
still been
that.
A bike
Yeah, that I know 100% why they did that, because they don't want they feel the audience wouldn't you know,
to relate
to a super rich lady, which I get that, but those are two separate things.
Yeah, exactly. I think you could have kept the exact same structure.
Mm-hmm.
They even kind of hint at it, where she recognizes she does a Shakespeare quote, and the other guy recognizes it.
Yeah.
And then she's like pretending like she didn't know, and you're like, oh, she's hiding her intelligence.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does boil down to, if she's going to be a Tomb Raider, let's say she kicks off, this is her new career in the sequel. I want her to know about the legends, the places, and be able to speak the languages, because I think that they leaned very hard on her being physically, awesome, and I want that too. But here she's just, she's like, I don't know where I'm going or what this is about. I read my dad's papers. Okay.
I think she's smart but not knowledgeable, which are different things.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. She's definitely smart, and they of course have the, unfortunately, the script has to underline it by having her father going, "You are always the smartest, Croft."
Yeah, I mean but that's the thing, I think, once again, to compare it to the Jolie movies, is what I like about this is you do watch her figure stuff out, which you almost, and she just kind of rules in the Jolie movie, and that's true. And that's what you're talking about. I agree with you that.
Well, there's also they've humanized her, as the reboots did. The game reboots humanized her because they had more room for storytelling.
Yes,
and I certainly like that. And again, Alicia Vikander, she is tough, but she is hurt. She is sad. She is dealing with things as she goes.
Well, I think one of the things here, and once again, that's not to say that Jolie couldn't have done that, because she is certainly a capable actress.
Yeah, she could have.
But the idea that one of the things I'm glad here, especially when I'm looking through who was bandied about for this, they hired an Academy Award-winning act. They hired a real actress who put in the time physically, but has the chops to play it as well. Because when you look at,
what I love about her too is when I look, because thanks to me having just recently seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E.,
which
is
also
another performance of hers where I hadn't seen her in.
She's great.
It's amazing with the acclaim she's gotten, but she hasn't pursued that stuff. You look at her career.
Not really, no.
She slips back into doing indie films, and she seems completely happy being there, and I'm like, wow,
this is kind of a rarity. This movie was sort of like her one, like, post-Oscar win. It's like, let me see if I can get a franchise going, and then, no, okay, well.
Ex Machina, Man from U.N.C.L.E., this. And Ex Machina is still, even though it had a budget, that's still an indie film.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that her career is just
she did the
basically touching at big budget.
Yeah, like she did the Jason Bourne movie and this.
Oh, that's right.
I don't blame you for forgetting that Jason Bourne movie. It's not good. I say that as somebody who reveres the Bourne trilogy. And then there's the stuff that came after, which I don't want to talk about. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, then if you look at all the stuff she's done since, it's all. I'm sure a lot of people would be like, "Wow, she just disappeared." I was like, "No, she does a lot of stuff. It's just the general audience isn't seeing it in the multiplex."
Right. Which again, I don't really myself go out and seek the obscure or the smaller. And
I did see. I saw Beckett. I highly recommend Beckett with her and John David Washington. Very good movie.
Has she done one with her husband? Is she?
Yes. Well, they did the movie together that they met on, which is The Light Between Oceans,
which I never saw.
I
got to tell you,
not my thing is what I would say about
people.
They're gorgeous. They're talented.
Yes, they will create a master race.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, we will be ruled by the Fassbender Vikander merging of genes there.
Yes. Yeah. Intelligent and gorgeous and physically fit.
Yeah.
Their children will rule the world.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm down for that.
Yeah, I would just say The Light Between Oceans is just not my thing. They're both amazing.
Okay.
I'm sure they're great in it, but just, period romance, it's long, it's just not going to be my thing. But
all right,
look,
You're
they got together on that. But let's talk about it in general. One of the things we talk about, I think the cast in this is really strong.
It really is,
because you've got.
No, keep going.
Oh, because I was going to say, not only do you have Vikander, I think, who's a great choice, and as we bring up, even though she had an Academy Award, she had been in a Jason Bourne movie, was, I think, sort of an unconventional or unexpected choice, because you see the other people the studio were mentioning, like Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. So
Jennifer Lawrence, who's good, but just like, this is not a, I like Jennifer Lawrence, but it just is sort of like, that's a generic thought,
Yeah, and I wouldn't have thought her being British for half of it.
No, and also, I have to imagine she's like, what, another fucking lady with a bow and arrow? Yeah, I'm going to really do that real soon.
That's exactly what they're doing.
I know the person who really sought this was Olivia Wilde, really wanted to be Lara Croft.
I could see that one probably better than the rest.
Better than and then Mila Kunis was the other one who I literally just talked about, well, a couple weeks ago, actually,
I
in
like
Max
Mila
Payne.
Kunis a lot, but I just, I don't know.
Well, she kind of played, a badass lady with a gun in Max Payne, and it was a little like, I don't know if that's her thing. They also really were keen on Daisy Ridley for it, which makes more sense. Mm-hmm. But she was, at this point, knee deep in Star Wars, and was like, I don't need to get involved in this. But so they end up with Vikander, and I think that really is like, wow, exciting.
That's
it's exciting because.
Well, we got what
no, because I remember when they cast her, I'm like, oh, that's actually an interesting choice. I think she'll do something with the part, and she does.
What was the first response from the
nerd
public?
Yeah, the nerd public, of course, also was
they're gonna have to pat her.
But the stupid thing about
those boobs.
But the stupid thing about that is like, no, because that's not what she looks like in the games that they're basing this off of.
I will say Alicia Vikander is almost exactly the character from the reboot games.
Yeah.
And again, clearly took it so seriously because the second you see her on screen, someone on Letterboxd, their review was, they gave it like, I don't know, 4 stars or something, but they said, hey, Alicia Vikander's shoulder and back muscles, I'm off on Fridays, but I could also pencil you in like Wednesdays and Thursdays. Just like a love letter, just to the back and shoulder muscles.
I gotta say, as resident action movie nerd, that is something that I look for. I want to be able to see the hero of an action movie, especially if they're being presented this way, and see them immediately on screen go like, yeah, they could kick ass. And that is the introduction of her in this movie when she's kickboxing, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, that woman looks like she's gonna wreck somebody.
Even though she loses.
I also like that, though.
Croft doesn't lose.
I know. There's one of the things where, once again, immediately they are shooting their shot going, this is a more human Lara Croft.
Yes.
And hey, Ghost from the Thunderbolts was there cheering her on.
I know. I was like, what's that about? Weird.
I gotta say, she wasn't known at this point yet, but I was like, oh man, I could use more Hannah John Common because she's great.
Yeah, she is. But the thing I will say is that's something I was about to kind of bring up is I do think the cast is all just bangers.
Yeah.
Great folks.
Yeah.
I do agree with some of the people online that say underused. A lot of them are just kind of,
Well, we talked about Kristen Scott Thomas is obviously being seeded for franchise stuff, which is
that's different.
Yeah.
And she still gets enough, stuff there.
Yeah.
And clearly almost every original or a beginning Lara Croft story is going to be about Daddy. So of course,
and they knocked it out of the park here. If you get a Dominic West,
McNulty apparently.
Yeah.
Who knew that guy was British?
Actually, I do think he is one of those guys though that people are kind of like. I do remember people talking about that, like he was so Baltimore in The Wire. If you read
people cannot wrap their heads around the
people
fact
just talk about like of anyone in that cast, he the most just attacked that accent but he's a great actor and he's great in this. Once again, even in the parts that are more clunkily written, or when he has to go, just have exposition dumps, you are like, well, at least you've got a really compelling actor who can,
right. But we also introduce, not in huge ways, but there's the best friend who is not going to continue past, once she becomes Tomb Raidery. She might show up in the sequel. That would have been cool. And you also have, like the boat captain guy, and not that there's anything wrong with him, but he seems like such an extraneous plot.
Well, it's an interesting thing with him, right? Because he basically replaces like the 8 people that are shipwrecked with her in the game.
And I liked all those people.
But I understand. Yeah, I did too. But I understand why.
It's about being efficient and so forth.
But it is an interesting thing though, where it's like he still feels extraneous, even though it's like he's there to design for streamlining. He still ends up, even though, and I love Daniel Wu.
And also because they also made that choice because she wouldn't be able to talk to those native folk.
No.
So he's there to speak, Chinese, Portuguese.
Well, and I also feel like it's, say what you will, obviously, but I feel like it's a studio note with like, we also need like a dude in there who's also kind of an action guy.
I mean, I think that the problem with his character,
because they initially set him up. No, and I said I'm a big fan of his. He's a great martial artist as well, which would be nice if he had done any martial arts in the movie. Because
he did a very cool fall at the very beginning when he drunkenly.
Well, I will say that, but that's what I was going to bring up is actually when he does the drunken fall, I'm like, got it. He's the Han Solo. He's the guy that's like, yeah, I'm kind of a rogue action guy, but then he does disappear once he's captured and Lara goes off. You're like, hey, is Daniel Wu still in this movie? And then he does a little bit at the end, but
that is the main problem, is that if you're trying to make him important, then he needs to either be side by side with her throughout the thing. But some people were also complaining, and the only reason I bring up these is usually if I already felt that way and then I read it, I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one. But she is the center of the movie, clearly, and she owns every second she's on screen.
Absolutely.
However, the plot keeps having her not dependent upon, but she lucks her way through a lot of stuff, and there are plenty of men, including Dad, who really do some of the plot-heavy things, and then she reacts and saves the day or saves herself, but it still ends up being like she is not as driven a character in this movie as Angelina Jolie was. She is kind of just bouncing from thing to thing, going like, maybe my dad's still alive. Oh, you killed him? Oh no. But at the same time, it's just her again. She chances on a particular beach and then sees a shaggy dude and she finds her dad. It's just like, oh, there you go. This is not an Indiana Jones, even though he does react a lot and just.
Because what I was gonna say is like that does kind of describe every action hero to a certain extent, which is they tend to be reactionary heroes. They go to a thing, find a thing, and then react. That's
But
I'm not saying you're right about like there's a lot of conveniences in the script, which is often an issue in these sort of movies.
Villain is making a lot of decisions for her. Father's making a lot of decisions for her.
Well, because she's not an archaeologist, right? So I mean, it's like her interest isn't in her interest is getting answers to what's up with her dad more so than it is about caring about this thing specifically. And then of course it eventually becomes, well, once we know what this thing is, we have to stop Walton Goggins and Trinity from getting it.
Man, Trinity, they're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another bummer where I wish there were more sequels, because of course that does become a big thing in the games. Is there is this Spectre-like organization that is getting these artifacts and stuff. They're very Hydra-y.
Yeah, and her the woman who's in charge of Croft for Laura, who was her father's
Anna Miller is Kristen Scott Thomas's character.
She is.
And also, I mean, lest we forget, Jacoby's in this, too.
We get Jacoby for a couple of seconds.
Jacoby! I can't see him without yelling Jacoby like the Goes Wrong people in the Christmas Carol special, which is
Goes Wrong show.
If you haven't watched the Goes Wrong show and their subsequent holiday specials and stuff,
to us right now.
Head over. Yeah, honestly, it's the one time I'll tell people stop listening and then come back, because that is what they do is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. It also made me love Jacoby even more that he would participate in such buffoonery.
I think a lot of those what we think of as the Royal Shakespeare Company like stock
they don't take themselves that
actors,
seriously. Weirdly,
they love to fuck with their image
it
because
really
they don't get to do fun things.
Look at your Ian McKellens, look at your Patrick Stewarts, look at these guys. They're not as precious about it. It's really kind of funny. I think that's an American. I think we as Americans put that on them, right? Like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
they
it's
are
like
too proper and they are too, like regal.
Yeah,
it's like no, these guys are actors and actors are almost always goofballs.
So you get Jacoby, and then since we're talking about the cast, can I just say, always a delight to get a little Nick Frost in your movie, right?
A little Nick Frost,
just a little in there, and he's funny.
Funny.
And him and the woman who plays his wife are funny.
And then, you could just sit there going like, oh, okay, that just makes sense because, at the time it's new flavor of the month, Nick Frost. Why not for a little bit of character work? But then you realize at the end that they're going to be like these shady weapons suppliers. And I'm like, great. Yeah. They had a reason for being there other than just the...
Well, because they set that up. They see that when she first goes in to sell the jade necklace thing to him, she kind of sees in the back that there's an open door to maybe some, shady shit. Yeah. And I love the whole thing about stop flirting with all the clients. He goes, I'm just naturally charming. I don't know what to, And you're just like, oh yeah, Nick Frost. Put Nick Frost in your movie for 5 minutes, and your movie's better.
Yeah,
it really is. I love that guy.
Or his buddy.
Yeah, him or Peg. And if you get a Peg and a Frost, look out.
Oh,
look out, because that's
you just made some money. It doesn't matter if the movie's called Paul.
Which
I liked.
I really enjoyed Paul. I really did. It's very funny.
It was mild. It wasn't as great as the stuff that
they're
still
yeah, man, good. I love it. I love a modern. We don't have enough comedy teams these days anymore. I love that. That's a thing from the past I want to see more of. And actually, speaking of our buddy Goggins, if Goggins and McBride keep doing stuff together, I'm on board for that.
I just, Vice Principals was a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing about Goggins does feel a little wasted in this, but also I feel he's almost very little is worth his talent. He's so talented that almost everything he's going to bump up by bringing his presence to.
Yeah, both of them.
He is
lead and villain are given some, cheesy stuff to say and do at the same time. There's just so much going on in the eyes.
Oh yeah, and the thing I love, he presents
real deal actors.
Real deal actors. One of the things I really do like about the Goggins performance in this, even if the character is a little underwritten, though, is there's real menace in the way Goggins plays him. There's a real threat here in a way that the cackling villains we get in a lot of these movies can be fun, but you're not. But when he just
the way he delivers the line with his back turned to her, and where he goes, she's like, "I just want to know where my father is," and he goes, "In heaven, because I killed him."
Yeah.
And he just delivers it so.
That scene when he just executes the guy who's like coughing, nothing. And that's the thing I love about Goggins knows, because we know Goggins can go wild. And have seen it many a time. But he plays everything so steely and sociopathic. But I also love the whole thing where it's just the realization eventually is like, oh, this guy's just middle management in Trinity. And he's like, hey, man, I'm just trying to get back to my family.
Yeah, he's like, I got 2 daughters. And I do like,
that's the best piece of writing for him as a character, I feel like, is the idea that it's like.
That scene is great.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Where he's also just going like.
You put some thought to it.
He goes, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'm really out of practice. It's been like 7 years. I don't know if
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't. What is he? He has a line. Another good line in the movie is like, if for 7 years, the only person I've had to talk to was that satellite phone.
Yeah.
Where he gets his orders.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's great.
It's good. And I love the idea too, classic adventure movie stuff where what are the bad guys doing? Well, they're just going around blowing up random mountains trying to find something. Like, it's so...
I do think it's kind of funny. It's necessary for the plot, but the idea that supposedly for 7 years, Walton Goggins apparently killed the guy who knew everything.
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't really, but as in Lord Croft.
Right.
So for 7 years, all they've been doing at these mountains is kind of just blowing stuff up to see if they can find an entrance to a hidden tomb.
Yeah.
And their bosses, Trinity, are not going to let them leave until they find something. You're like, wow.
And so we're meeting this guy at, like, he fully has lost it at this point, Goggins.
Yeah. But again, not in a cackly or just like
in a very real
twitchy way.
In a very real, grounded, that's what a real crazy guy would be like, you're like, oh boy, that guy, but it is unpredictable and dangerous. And yeah, I do wish there was more for him to do, but man, he is bringing so much. Same thing with West, who I really believe in the flashback scenes when he's doting on his daughter. I mean, his flashback wig is not amazing, but
I buy that. We could get a Lara Croft out of
a Dominic West.
A Dominic West.
I will say that is a maybe a little better than a John Voight.
Calling her Sprout. That's just, I know, and that's actually a father-daughter. However, a father-daughter that, historically despise each other.
Oh my God, the shifts between the times they're good and not with each other, it's like you almost gotta do a daily check-in. What are they? They're not talking now. Okay, got it.
I think it's been years now. I mean, I think it is the politics. Clearly.
I mean, look, she's got her own issues too.
Oh yeah.
I think they both have their issues. It's just they're in separate directions. No, but I do think that's the thing about this too. Is I don't believe Voight as much as maybe a world-renowned adventurer.
Well, also he's
not Dominic
British.
West.
There's another thing.
Well, I do think there is something about actually casting British people that does help, even as decent as like Jolie's accent was.
Well, Alicia Vikander, though, I mean, she's not British.
No, but she almost always has a British accent in everything I see her in.
Yeah, she's
Swedish.
Swedish?
Yeah. She must have spent a fair amount of time in England just based on...
Yes.
She seems
she does a very good British accent. So.
And she hangs out with that Irish hunk that she's married to. Oh, man,
that Irish beefcake?
Yeah. That man is one of those just like, it's not fair to be that handsome.
No, it's not.
And everybody go watch The Agency. It's really good.
I might one of these days.
You should. He's great. Once again, hot take. He's very good. And if you haven't seen Black Bag, Black Bag is also great.
I do want to watch that.
Black Bag is very good. But anyway, but I just see here. Sorry, I was just looking at her thing. I don't regret who we have. I think Zoe Kravitz is a great Catwoman, but she apparently was one of the people in consideration for Catwoman as well. And Vikander would have been a good Catwoman.
Oh, she would have been a very good Catwoman.
Yeah. But once again, I love a Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, so that worked out just fine.
I thought she was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm no complaints.
It
Plus,
all worked
we'll
out.
need a new Catwoman.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's gonna
age.
That's gonna be weird. Well, yeah, because
we can have multiple.
She's 75 years old. I don't know if you know this, Vikander. Yeah.
Why do you always do that? Why do you always add on like
you? Because yeah, that's right. I got ahead of you on that. Yeah. I think
it's just I read something today where someone was basically saying the same thing about, because people are speculating who's going to be the new Wonder Woman for the DC universe.
Yeah.
And then someone online was going, someone who's probably 25 or even younger, and here's the reasons. And they were saying all the stuff I say. It's like, if they made films every year, then it would be different. But here's the thing: all the women actresses that people are touting are all in their 30s, mid 30s, and so forth.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about a franchise where you want multiple entries, you're talking about a decade. And as example, they brought up, it's like let's talk about ScarJo, who was like 25 exactly when she started as Black Widow, and was able to do multiple films, fill that character out for a decade, and she still gets out in her 30s. You're like, yeah, that's it. It's unfair to expect an actress who will be maybe in 3 movies as Wonder Woman, and then like a Justice League or 2, so a decade. And it's like she'll be in her 50s. It's like or early 50s, and it's unfair to expect that she'll look exactly the same. That's a problem with doing superhero characters and franchise.
Two
characters.
points I would say to that. Number one, we've seen plenty of people be able to pull that off and still be competent action heroes. But second point is, you also have to be careful. I think the thing they lucked out with a ScarJo is that she didn't feel young. Even though she was young, she didn't. She still had a gravitas to her. You still believe that Natasha, and that's what I would say with a Wonder Woman too. Is
in their 20s that have that too. Mm-hmm. So you just got to look. They're out there. The problem with saying like, here's flavor of the month, really good actor. Mm-hmm. Why not have them? Mm-hmm. Is the thing is, these characters are essentially immortal. Even Bond, they started like having to mention age a little bit towards the end of some of the things, just because, yeah, man, these movies take 2.5, 3 years in between. So how many sometimes are you going to get with one person playing?
What did I just see? And I swear we're going to go back to Tomb Raider, everybody. What did I just see, though? By the time that Batman Part 2 will be out, Pattinson will be the same age Affleck was when he was cast as Batman, as old man Batman.
Yeah.
And they did, to be fair, Snyder did age Affleck up a little bit purposely. Like, I think Affleck's playing about 5 years older, than he actually was when he was cast.
He's the grumpy vet.
Right,
Again, not a fan of that take, but still, they were acknowledging it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting
acknowledge it, sure, if you want to.
But I mean, to be fair, though, it's not like Pattinson, like, Jesus, they're really going to have to say something about it because he's looking rough.
No, but it will be a thing where, hey, all these adventures he's faced off, we just never got to see them, and they will mention like, yeah, he's been out there kicking ass for 5-10 years, and you're like, okay, great, so we don't get to see those. Oh, that's a shame.
I mean, if look, this no one's surprised this derailed us, but from what Reeves has said, the movie takes place like less than a year after the Batman. So,
well, then they're gonna basically do what they can to make an older actor look like he's younger.
I don't think he looks that much different now, but all right. Anyway, back to this movie. One thing I think this movie, I want to talk about this director, not just because he is one of the greatest names I've ever seen.
Do you know how to pronounce it?
I believe it is pronounced Roar Utog.
Okay.
Roar Utog is what I heard. But I think he really did. I think this is a well-directed movie, and I think he captures a lot of the. One of the things I was really impressed by in terms of fidelity to the games is he really captures the kind of action that is in the games.
I will say that whenever there is a set piece which is either exactly or just similar to set pieces from the games, they still work on a thrill level.
They really do.
And they're going like, oh, there she is. I mean, the whole thing with the raging river and the tree branches and the rusty old plane, that whole thing felt like the game, and not just in a, okay, now I got to hit up and left and right.
No,
instead, I'm like, I'm worried about
he
it.
translates that kind of action to a movie. Like, it really, and I think this was a smart decision of, they got him from, I don't know if you know this guy's work at all. He had made a movie before this called The Wave, which was about a giant tsunami that slammed into a Norwegian.
Heard of it.
Yeah, and so they got it, but I think they were smart to get a guy who was kind of unknown, but had proven with a limited budget in a foreign movie, had done special effects based action and thrills. And
this was well done. So now I'm wondering, because I did no research, but what has he gone on to do?
Because I'm glad you asked, because I think you did see this as well. He directed Troll.
Oh, I loved Troll.
I loved Troll as well. That's the movie he made after this, and he's just finished Troll 2.
Well, I'm down for that shit.
This guy, I like this guy. I think this guy's got chops. Norwegian.
We could be friends.
I think so, based on the nerdy stuff he directs.
Call me Roar.
Yeah, but his name is Rorta. But I just think it's a cool thing where, similar to if you're a patron, and if you're not, you should be. But we talked about we do Brandon and I do a series on there called The Last to Be Curious, where we watch through the Bad Boys movies, and I think similar to the two guys they found there, finding these really cool guys who are doing genre-y kind of stuff on a lower level in foreign territories, and then bringing them here,
and headhunting them.
Yeah, in this case, obviously. I guess you could say he wasn't as successful because he went back to Norway, but then made something that Troll had international appeal.
You know what? I'm willing to bet. Not only probably was he following his heart, but I bet also he probably got a taste of what the machinery of Hollywood's like.
Well, I will say,
probably did not go down well.
Because I think he directs these scenes really well. I think we've talked about that he didn't have any hand in the screenplay, at least in a credited way. And there are 3 credited screenwriters on this. A lot of producers. Yeah. Also, I want to talk about why this movie exists is a weird thing as well, which is you would just think, oh, well, they made this popular game. What happened, from what I gather from some of the research I've done, the producer of this really wanted to make an Uncharted movie. And then couldn't get that off the ground. It was like, oh, I also own the rights to Tomb Raider, so can I make a Tomb Raider movie instead? It ended up working. I mean, I think this movie doesn't feel, but it is an interesting thing of like everyone was so hot on Uncharted, and then when that kind of stalled out, they're like, yeah, I think Tomb Raider's still kicking around.
Isn't this like either a production company or producer? Didn't they have the rights to a whole bunch of video game properties and were trying to create a shared universe?
I think that was eventually the idea. So it was like Uncharted was the priority, and then that kind of stalls out. So we just moved down to the next title on the list. I think that
Uncharted, Tomb Raider, and I think also Hitman.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That would have been. I mean, I love a shared universe, but that's so they go like, "Oh, it's a shame that Nathan Drake never got to hang out with Lara Croft."
I think the thing. I mean, and we'll talk about Nathan Drake in a couple weeks here. Like I don't know what would be gained because it's a thing too where they would kind of actually suck as members of a superhero team because they have the same skills like. You know what I mean? Like, sort of thing where it's like, if you're building your Avengers of video game characters, you're like, why would you need 2 rascally, good with guns treasure hunters?
I would assume that it would just all be down to character differences, like personalities, where it's like, or they're in competition. And actually, that would be pretty badass.
Sure.
Who gets to it first, or they're both on the trail of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I
know of each other by reputation.
Yeah. And then, hey, why not throw in a cloned assassin while we're out here? I think Hitman's the real odd man. I think Agent 47's the real odd man out there.
You say odd, I say that's.
I mean, I'll tell you. Look, here's the thing, and I am available to write this if you want. Obviously, you would have Trinity having hired Agent 47. Starts as their villain, ends up siding with them again. Right, there's your movie. There you go, Hollywood. Yes. Have fun.
And then for some reason, Commander Shepard shows up. Sorry, I'm going somewhere else.
A time portal opens up, and Commander Shepard shows up. But to make every
Mass Effect gate.
Well, they are doing the Mass Effect show now, so because that's where I mean, and they're
behind that. I want it to be good.
Amazon's doing that, of course.
Right, that means money will be there. Hopefully, the talent will be.
I mean, this is a thing that comes up a lot in here. That's obviously where they're going with Tomb Raider next, too, right? Amazon's also doing that. It does feel like the momentum is going more. We've been talking about this on pretty much every episode this season.
When you have something like Sonic and Minecraft, where you go, look, if you do it to where the fans like it, it makes crazy huge money.
Right.
It's a no-brainer to go, well, let's finally do Tomb Raider right.
But I mean, I think the better examples of and the reason why they're going to TV, right, is stuff like Last of Us or Fallout, where you're talking about shows that are not only successful but well reviewed, become prestige TV, appeal to both fans of the games and people who just want to watch a good show. It also solves some of the problem of these are 30 to 50 hour games and they don't translate into a movie format very well. Well, if we're doing 5 seasons of 10 episodes, we can tell a pretty sprawling narrative. I follow the logic of that. As always, with any of this, as a fan of these properties, I hope these are good. I would say as I've been saying a lot, we're always hoping more for a Fallout than a Halo.
Yes.
It just...
I gave Halo a shot.
Me too.
And again, I'm not I've played the game.
I didn't think it was
gone.
I did
hours. It wasn't bad.
No,
it didn't really engage.
No, and I know that there were things that did piss off the fans in it because I frequent co-host on here, Mike Gergoni, might have had some things to say about
the fact that he took his helmet off.
I know that pissed a lot of people off too. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, but I think this movie's interesting to me in that this movie kind of was met with like a like I don't remember, like, fans weren't like super pissed about it in general. Once again, the general reaction was just sort of, this kind of came and went.
Yeah, it is true. I other than the outrageous, body shaming snark, which is very much before the movie comes out,
and also like a thing where it's like, oh, then I guess you haven't been keeping up with the games either, right? Like,
right. But the whole thing is that the main thing I remember hearing, and I didn't go see this in the theater either until I didn't watch it till last night, and I'm like, oh, it's good. Yeah. It's not mind-blowingly good. I think if it were slightly smarter, I can't. I was never bored, and she owns it so much that it's just.
That's the thing. That's the thing about where they should have made more, is just how good she is in the part. They really did have the right Lara Croft, and this director, honestly.
She enjoyed it. She was like, I'm totally down to return. It's just that it took too long, and then the rights went away.
Yeah, I mean, that's it exactly. And now it's, I mean, they just said there's also, I'm sure people would be yelling at me if I didn't mention, there is an animated series on Netflix going of it right now, which I think people like for the most part.
Is that the one that Haley
Atwell does the voice of Lara Croft in it? Yeah, it's called The Legend of Lara Croft.
That's not bad.
No, that's a great choice.
I might check that out. I mean,
I've heard good things about
I saw
it.
The trailer for it. The animation didn't look amazing. It looked,
I mean, it looks like most of the Netflix animated stuff. They make a lot of animated content.
Maybe I'll check that out.
I mean, I think it's, and then I know, once again, Amazon is developing it. They're also, who knows if that, obviously we've talked about. I was just talking to you about, people are talk about getting in shape for the role. People are quite obsessed with Sophie Turner posting a picture of herself in Lara Croft shape, which she does look insane.
They better dye her hair, man.
I say that only because I don't really know how far into that. Like, it does seem like Amazon is developing like 6 shows based on video games. The fact that she's already getting in shape for it. Yeah, because they're doing that. They're doing God of War. They're doing Mass Effect. I think there's maybe another one. Yeah, Ron Moore is doing God of War for them, which I'm actually excited about, because Ron Moore is a really good writer. After Fallout, I think they were basically just like, what else can we get our hands on?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I believe, is still attached as showrunner of the Tomb Raider show.
I can only assume that, as you were about to point out, that it must be in the works, because you do not.
Right, she's already
sculpt yourself like that. Yeah. If it's going to be another year or two.
Well, and that's the only one that's casting. So I think that does sound like the furthest along of the group, because they all have showrunners.
The Mass Effect money show, that money is talk about, because you've got to create, Garrus, and you got to create. What's his name, the Krogan, and all that stuff.
I have to imagine that they're spending. I mean, they're probably looking at Mandalorian, right, as a example of how you do something like that.
True, I bet they do the big wraparound screen thing.
The volume. I would think they would. It's the only way to keep something like that cost effective. Yeah. I would think
it's the only way to fly.
Right. And it looks good.
I enjoyed this movie.
I think
it was very good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Let's talk about the box office, as it were.
Okay,
the movie cost $94 million, which is a lot of money, but also kind of mid-tier blockbuster money these days.
It sounds ridiculous to say it makes such a announcement, but yes, compared to any other tentpole thing, that's pretty reasonable.
If you're under 100, you're considered like kind of middle of the road at a studio. They're not too worried about, and it made 274.9 worldwide.
There you go.
Which is, I mean, that's, like I said, they're all kind of, it's really fascinating. One of the things charting this over the seasons, they all kind of making about that much return on investment.
The thing is that it did okay.
Yeah.
And critically, because I looked at some of the reviews.
I think people were like, it's all right.
No one hated it.
No, I don't think because there's no, it's all so competent, right? Like everything here is pretty competent. It's well acted. It's stock, but like the script mostly comes together. Like there's not glaring plot holes.
I think that is at least what I see.
It's
is
watchable.
The weakest part of it.
Yeah, but
it's also not awful. It's just you.
That's
can
right.
see
So the acting's good. I think it's well directed. The action scenes are good. I should mention I really also liked a lot of the fight scenes. There's a real visceral nature to them.
Yeah,
that was definitely missing from
similar to the reboot. This is a Laura who works at it, and I think again, Alicia Vikander, amazing in the role.
Mm-hmm.
Good British accent.
Mm-hmm.
When she screams, moans, cries, anything during the fight scenes, her voice is so childlike. And I know that's not on purpose. It's just the way she sounds. So when she's going like, it actually does work very visceral because she seems that much more vulnerable. That when she takes down that first guy, like in that mud puddle,
she drowns him in the puddle. Yeah,
she drowns him in the puddle, and she's having to like. I know that again in real life it would take much longer, but still, it's long drawn out enough. It's
long enough that
she is on top of him, and she is straining, and then she just that reaction when she sits back, and you're like going, "That's her first kill, man," and that's a huge thing. Lara Croft will eventually be offing people with two guns, just down the line.
I do appreciate though the acknowledgement. This is a big thing I have about action movies. I do appreciate the acknowledgement of killing someone if you haven't done it before. There would be a reaction there. Even I mean, probably more so in reality, but any acknowledgement of it as an emotional thing, I appreciate. And just in general, the visceral nature of it, the whole thing where she's impaled through the side by like a piece of wood, just all this stuff that makes her feel real, and it's that thing that people talk about with Indiana Jones or John McClane or these characters where it's like you feel that struggle. She's beaten and bloodied and sweaty by the end of the movie, and it's all.
So then another review was like, the worst problem I had with the film, and this is from like an actual reviewer.
Yeah.
She's a little too superhuman and too, she recovers from very serious wounds quickly. And I was like, oh, you've never played a video game.
I mean, that's the thing, and
you never have.
That's a thing that drives me insane in action. I mean, I think that there's always going to be some suspension of disbelief.
It's the same with every James Bond thing. Really going like, okay, well, how many bones has he broken? Well, apparently he's able to just get up and walk off.
Yeah, I mean, people get shot and keep walking in anything, and that's probably unrealistic.
Vin Diesel gets shot in the arm and doesn't even flinch, man.
That was a mild annoyance. Oh. I don't think so.
Oh, whatever. And can use that arm perfectly for the next.
Hey, that wasn't nice, dude. Don't shoot me in the arm like that. I don't care for that. No, but I mean
that's your complaint. Just don't watch it.
Yeah, action movies may not be for you at that point because I mean, there's a spectrum there, right? I mean, obviously in Fast and the Furious, it's absurd. But
if it gets to that,
right? But
they did not get there.
But even something that's even something like Indiana Jones or Die Hard that are acclaimed for treating that real, those guys still take abuse that would shut you down. Like John McClane's probably not walking anymore after the glass, stuff like that, right? Where it's just like, or he goes down that stairs and he has a concussion, right? Like, there's stuff like that where it's just like, yeah, you have to, because it is a movie, folks. It is a movie. It's still not real. Total reality.
Sorry, guys.
And also, total reality. This whole idea too about that's not realistic. It's like reality's kind of boring, so we need to pump it up at least a little bit, don't we?
I know. The big reveal of there being like no supernatural stuff mainly worked simply because Walton Goggins' character the whole time is like, that stuff is absolute bullshit, and nothing's gonna happen. And then when it's revealed, like, oh, this was the terrible secret, it's still has the guy who laughs gets it bad, and of course the villain going down is so satisfying.
Oh yeah.
In any movie, especially if they've done it right. And this was a badass takedown, where he's not only diseased, but she literally kicks him off the goddamn cliff. I loved that stuff.
I also
Plus,
loved her
she got
punching
her
him in
mountain climbing. Too.
Yeah, which is that's the. I mean, getting to the two guns at the in the mid credits thing obviously is very iconic. Tomb Raider,
This movie is
but
all
specifically,
bow and arrow
but that because bow and arrow and then the rock pick are those are iconic to the reboot version of the game.
The reboot,
because
there are plenty of little winks. There's plenty of little winks to
without
where
being
the original games went and where the reboot went, and so I was like, okay, they did pay attention. It's not so
well,
far
and even the rebooted games do things like eventually bringing in her dual wielding pistols and stuff, but it's all about building to that stuff and
right.
And as her shooting two pistols at once, I will say, though, is a little bit like, well, someone talking about realism or whatever, it's like, not very tactically sound, but okay. Sure.
I think you're getting a little too close to...
John's Gun Corner?
No, the Shadow. I think you're getting a little too close to critiquing...
No, but the Shadow has supernatural abilities, so I let that fly.
Okay. He's got twin... blazing 45s.
He sure does. And she has the ridiculous HK 45s, which are
and be sure and check out my streaming series of The Shadow, which is coming to something eventually.
Well, a streaming service that may not even exist yet, but will be.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
it could be coming down the pike.
There's new ones every day, Brendan, so a new chance for it. All right, Leah, let's talk about so where do you think that landed in the top 5 2018 box office
of when it first came out?
Yeah, it's total box office. Where as I do every episode of the show, the top 200 movies of the year. Where do you think Tomb Raider landed with it? What did I say it was? It was two. Let's see here.
275 worldwide.
Yeah, about 275 worldwide.
I don't think it's in the top. Well, maybe it's in the top 10.
Well, let me give you the as I always do. I'll give you the top 5. Top 5.
I know what one of the top ones is. It's going to be Black Panther.
Well, Black Panther's at number 2. Number 1, Avengers: Infinity War, which did make 2 billion. Black Panther made 1.3 billion. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom was 1.3 billion. Incredibles 2, 1.2 billion. And Aquaman, people forget the first Aquaman made 1.1 billion.
I remember it did well, even though.
But I gotta say also, the idea that the top 5 movies all made $1 billion. Anytime I do this game, I'm like, no, the movie industry has changed, because we're looking at right now. I was just reading an article the other day about, like, are we looking at a billionless summer? We may be looking at no movie this summer will cross $1 billion.
It is just everything on a sliding scale, so you can sit there going like, that's amazing, and people consider it a flop if it doesn't make $1 billion, and then you go, but how much did they cost? When movies are 300, 400 million to make, it's like, okay, all right, it's just that sliding scale. If we are having a billionless summer, I don't know what to say, because I'm already seeing Superman and Fantastic Four at least a couple of times, if not more. So I think they're going to do okay.
I don't think it's about the individual movie. I think it's more just like that's an indication just less people are going to movies, though, right? Like this idea that just movies aren't just nothing's getting up to $1 billion, you know?
No.
And that's an
no matter how
thing.
Expensive their popcorn buckets are. And yes, I keep bringing them up.
I will say that is actually a thing, though. That is often in my refrains about movies not doing well is like, well, something not included in that box office is things like merchandise sales, right? And Marvel in particular makes a lot back from toys and shirts and, you know. Anyway, where do you think this landed in the top 200?
I will say it's around 15.
Ooh, they wish. 38th.
38th. Wow.
38th. And once again, this was a time when things were, cooking still at the box office.
Yeah.
We're just about to have it not be. I will say, very interesting that Hannah John Kamen and Walton Goggins are in the same year, also in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which came out.
Yes.
Which is interesting. And that's a Goggins cranked up in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's
the thing is, he
goofy.
brings whatever is required.
Absolutely. And I do think he's. I was about to say, I think Boyd Crowder is one of the best performances ever on television, but so is Uncle Baby Billy. Like, the guy just keeps turning in amazing work. Look, this is...
Baby Billy, Bible Bonkers.
Just roll that around your mouth. Doesn't it feel good? It sounds good. Yeah, I love it. I love the guy. And almost limitless range.
No,
honestly.
I know, and that is the only thing that saddened me recently. And everyone, you get your money, but I heard him doing a voiceover for a commercial, and I was just like,
sure.
Oh man,
they all. Everybody does.
I know they all do it, but I was just like, oh, Walton, dude,
that's good money, man.
I know money. It is,
and also little time.
Yeah, absolutely. You went in a booth for literally 15 minutes.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, we're not talking about TV shows based on video games, but of course, he's in one of the best right now, which is Fallout, which he is astounding in. And that show is amazing.
Season 2 right now.
I mean, it's coming this year. That's all I know is that it will be out by the end of this year. But anyway, actually, I realized this is the second time we talked about Goggins on this show because he is in Predators, which I keep forgetting.
Oh, well, yeah, but I didn't get to do that series with you, so I still haven't seen Predators.
It's pretty good. I will say, of the sequels, that is the one I would recommend watching.
More than The Predator?
Way more than The Predator. The Predator's
but
pretty
not
bad.
More than Prey.
No, but Prey is great. Prey is its own thing. But if you're gonna, and I can't wait
Predator versus Grizzly. That's all I'm gonna say.
Predator versus Grizzly. I'm very excited for the next Predator Badlands. Looks pretty cool. All right, let's see. Let's finish up here with some highs and lows.
All right, give me some highs and some lows.
Yeah. I need jingles. This show needs jingles because I've really got segments here.
Yeah, we actually have segments.
Yeah.
You need to have a little it's that time for highs and lows.
Yeah.
Highs and lows and
lows
and highs.
I mean, I already am kind of stealing this from How This Game Made. Can I just throw that to the audience? Somebody send in a jingle I would love that.
Yeah.
I always say this.
If anyone's actually listening to this at all.
Yeah.
And you have
people do.
Even a modicum.
I think this is.
Talent.
I will say, Brendan, I believe this is our most listened to podcast. So.
IP Squad?
I believe IP Squad. Sometimes Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters overtakes it, depending on the movie. But in general, I would say this is our most popular show. Anyway, here we go.
Okay.
This comes to us from Megadeth Dragon Crimson, exactly who you would expect to be writing a review of Tomb Raider. Megadeth Dragon Crimson, who says, "Finally, the movie that breaks the long-dreaded video game film curse." That's the title of the review.
Okay.
My thoughts on Tomb Raider. Wow! Finally, a video game movie that is so much fun and exciting as well as crafted beautifully. Overall, a solid story with great action and some surprises I wasn't expecting. Alicia Vikander crushed it as Lara Croft. Vikander is the new queen of action films. I was so impressed by her performance throughout the course of the film. The entire cast was solid. The film definitely has an Indiana Jones vibe, which I think is epic. I spotted some nods to the original games. The film is very well grounded and gritty. The action sequences and visuals are stunning. Definitely brought the 2013 version of Tomb Raider to life with a bang. Vikander's Lara Croft is a hero that is flawed yet keeps pushing forward, and you see that in Vikander's performance. While Warcraft and Assassin's Creed stumbled, by the way, just check out Assassin's Creed starring her husband, Michael Fassbender. If anyone remembers.
That's right.
Yeah, they both did their video game movies that neither one turned into franchises. This is a better movie than Assassin's Creed, though. Tomb Raider Rise Above the Pack with superb storytelling, great action, and impressive performances. Oh, I didn't mention... Junkie XL did a phenomenal job with the Tomb Raider films. I didn't mention that. I do really like Junkie XL, who did this.
I don't know what that means.
Junkie XL is a nom de plume for a composer who did... Mad Max.
Talking about the score?
The score, yeah. Did Mad Max Fury Road was what they jumped on the scene with.
Oh, nice. Well, even if I don't know them by name, they've done fine work.
Junkie XL, does a lot of good stuff. Does a lot of work with Zack Snyder, which I'm, say what you will. The scores are good,
Sure.
Yeah. So epic after the thing about the score. All right. Thank you, Roar Utog, for bringing this film to life in spectacular fashion. Mentions more of the cast. Proud to be a longtime hashtag Tomb Raider fan. Go see Tomb Raider. So, yeah, they put the hashtag in there. Some plot elements are predictable and cliche, as is the case in many action films. But there's plenty of twist and excitement along with the stellar cast performances and action sequences to make this a must-see 10 out of 10 stars. I do like just the thing about, like, some of the writing's a little weak, but what movie isn't have bad writing, you know?
10 out of 10 stars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one thing that they told me that I wasn't aware of is that she had been crowned the queen of action films.
I find it interesting because I don't think she makes another action movie after this, but...
Not really. So, well, good for her. I hope she polishes that crown.
I would love to see her do more action movies. I think she's great.
I would too.
Once again, it's I do feel like it is.
I just want to see her in more movies because I think she's so damn talented.
Did you watch Irma Vep on HBO?
Irma Vep, I saw a little bit of.
Yeah, because that was sort of that's one of the bigger things she's done in the last couple of years. Oh yeah, that's right. She is on the Green Knight. So you know,
she is.
She's around. She's still working, but yeah, I think it's, you know, once again, her choice if she wants to do that. But you know, take another swing at a big studio picture. I would love to see it.
You heard it here first, John.
And
Campbell to Alicia Vikander.
If we want to team her and Fassbender up again, I'm cool with that. I love both of them.
You know, except for they're just unrealistically beautiful people, but a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they could have done they
could have done Black Bag together.
I was going to say that. I mean, look, Kate Blanchett's amazing, and I'm not here to say
no one is going to complain.
Yeah,
that you ended up with Kate Blanchett.
It would have been great with them too. Anyway, okay, here we go. Here's a review that I think we're going to disagree with, and right from the title, because we have some experience with this. This comes to us from Latunda.
Oh. Hi, Latunda.
Latunda says, title of the review, Uwe Boll lives! ! And we have, if you're a Meet the Monsters listener, you know we have some experience with Mr. Boll.
That is a full-on slap in the face.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Uwe Boll lives! Well, to be honest, I did expect this movie to suck, just because I remember the times when we used to have real Lara in video games. Well, this movie is clearly based on that whiny little Lara from Square Enix's reboot.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I somewhat expected that I wouldn't like the film, but while still being a huge fan of the original Tomb Raider since 1996, this guy is OG. Brendan, in case you're wondering. Yeah,
he's willing to let us know.
Yeah. And by the way, I assume gender a lot with these things, and I don't think anyone's on my ass too much.
No.
Let's see. And I must say I'm surprised because it is literally that's all in caps, most pathetic thing I've seen since Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark.
What the hell? They are so far apart.
The problem with this movie isn't modern Laura, who's stupid, boring, and, well, flat. Now, come on, you know he means that. He means that a couple different ways, doesn't he?
Oh, he's being clever. See, there's multiple things there. Yeah.
The problem is in the script. New Tomb Raider is a huge pile of the most generic, predictable old stuff you can ever imagine. It's so generic that if it isn't the first film you're seeing, if it isn't the first movie you're seeing in the genre, you'll want to cry, and probably will. Everything here, every single moment was used in the other films for like 1 million times before. Every move, every word, it's that bad. I actually can't believe it myself, but it's that bad. It's so generic and predictable that I literally said the next line before it was told by a character many times during the movie and was shocked that it actually happened every single time. Should I say that it's a complete disaster? But the funniest thing is, aside from some shooting that's done by the guys who act like they previously played Imperial Stormtroopers in Star Wars before doing this, there's almost no action in this movie. All right, let me back up. What? There's a lot of action in this movie.
I guess they just wanted non-stop levels of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it actually
constantly running, leaping, climbing, solving puzzles.
Yeah, there's shooting. A lot of action. I would say it's a pretty action-heavy movie. All right, anyway. It's just that generic scenes from the old adventure movies and a lot of cheesy talks. A lot of them. I really wonder what did they do with those $100 million. Somebody must have had a hell of a party while the others did a quick job on the movie that they didn't really care about.
Wow.
The whole 2 hours I've waited for the story to start for real. Guess what? It didn't. Even though the movie ends on a cliffhanger, I still didn't feel any excitement. Actually, even the cliffhanger was laughably boring and predictable. First few minutes of the movie, you can predict what will happen at the end. So, yeah. By the way, note to anyone writing for IMDb, please don't ever use "so yeah" in your review.
Except for it really hits home.
Not something you'll want to watch willingly. Even if you don't feel the same as me and you did enjoy Square Enix's video games, this movie is still a no-no.
No.
I did mention Uwe Boll at the beginning of the review, but guess what? Old man Uwe actually did a better job because his movies were so bad that they were actually fun to watch.
Oh, all right. That's the point they're making. All right.
In a certain unique way, yes, but still, while this one, sigh. If you want to see a movie, and I'm reading this verbatim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sigh. Yeah, if you want to see, just put those together. That should be the whole review. If you want to see a movie and feel that you didn't see anything you didn't see before, then here you go. Want to know most of the lines before the characters in a movie actually say them, even though you didn't see the movie before? Here it comes. Want to fall asleep during the movie based on an action game? Enjoy. But whatever you do...
Holy hell, how many words is this thing?
It's almost done. But whatever you do, don't expect this to be a good and interesting movie. Pretty sure that the next movie will include Lara Croft watching paint dry, and it will still be more fun than this. 1 out of 10 stars.
Wow.
Yeah, what movie did they see?
I don't know, and I don't...
Because even, we had some issues with the script, but, I wouldn't say anyone needs to be embarrassed about it or, Jesus.
I will say this. One thing that you're not working from is a knowledge of this person, and I did do some research.
You know Latanda?
Latanda. The thing about Latanda is, and I don't want to dig up traumatic past, a canister with this film on it fell off a truck and literally killed this person's
That's
pet.
it. Yeah. That's right. That's right. All right. You know what?
There's a lot of anger here that I don't think the film deserves. I love that it's a film canister. They were already doing the digital stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
right? Yeah. This
100%.
Never got printed on film.
Not for anything beyond specialty things. No.
I like when I catch myself being literally
it's a film can.
Years old.
Yeah, somebody was chasing the film.
I remember film cans.
Someone was chasing the film canisters around, Gosling at the end of Nice Guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brent, as I said, you'll be back in a few weeks to talk Uncharted with me.
Okay.
Get a little, you're our adventure.
I have played a little bit of one of the games.
Okay.
I bought it on sale and I enjoy it.
And I will say the interesting thing about that movie is that is not an adaptation of the games, but is a prequel to the games.
Yeah,
What's the choice there?
Again, Nathan Drake looks like I don't know, like a kid, like some sort of teenager from Brooklyn.
Yeah, maybe from Queens. Yeah, maybe he's from Queens. I don't know. Maybe he's got some issues with arachnids or something. I don't know.
Maybe he's got a hot aunt.
I think I will say I think it'll be very interesting to address some of the issues you had with the script in that movie because I will say there are things in that movie that almost feel like directly answering weirdly. Not purposely, obviously, because we weren't thinking about this. But I will say there are things in it where it's like, oh, that movie actually corrects some of the issues you had, I think, with the Lara Croft character in this.
Okay.
That they do with Nathan Drake. I like that movie. But anyway, next week on the show, Mike Ergoni will be back because Mike Ergoni has been on most of this season, but has to come back to talk Rampage because it's a movie with giant creatures in it, right?
Yeah. Big old monkey, big old lizard. And a big old werewolf.
Yep.
According to the video game, the arcade video game.
Big wolf,
I never
big
understood.
gorilla, and big alligator. I think he's an alligator.
Oh, it's an alligator? In the original game, it was a giant werewolf.
No, it's a werewolf. It's not a lizard. It's an alligator. The reptile is an alligator.
Oh, so they're trying to avoid the Godzilla thing.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway, and the Rock's there too.
Well, luckily, I don't have to watch it.
It's all right.
Enjoy, Mike.
Yeah, I think he does enjoy it. I think he's a fan, if I remember correctly. He likes when big
Dwayne the Rock.
Well, that's why I like it. He likes it because big creatures smash stuff.
Okay.
He's a sucker for that, if you didn't know. Anyway, Brendan, of course, you can be heard every week on Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters.
I can be heard.
Yeah, you can be heard, indeed. My Midwest is coming out.
Yeah, we'll be doing the more monster stuff.
More monsters over there.
We're almost finished. We're in the 2010s.
On the Patreon, which is a good note to the patron fans that they should check out. Yeah, because we're well ahead on the Patreon. For patron subscribers, get to hear years ahead. So that's pretty exciting. So you want to head over to our patron page, which is patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. And of course, you can also find us on YouTube or youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, all that. But I think that's going to do it until next week. The case file is closed.